Welcome to the video Concentration Measurements Part 2. Let's check we need to do assumption or no for these questions. We gather the information given in the question into this table. Then write down the formula for the requirement of the questions. We need to find out number of mole, but not given in the question. Then we can come out the formula for number of mole. We can determine the mass of solute from the density and also the volume of the solute given in questions. With the mass, we can find the number of mole. Next, the volume of the solution also given in the question, but we need to convert the volume of solution into the unit of liter. After go through the question and analyze the information given, we no need to do assumption to solve this problem. These are another two examples how the students answer the question. First, student find out mass of solute. Second, with the mass, student can find the number of mole. Third, the students convert the unit of solution from milliliter to liter. And finally, students can get the molarity of the solution. Now, let's look at second example together. Assumption is needed for this question or no. As usual, gather the information in the question to the table and list down the formula of the molarity. Now, we have to use percentage by mass given in the question to determine the number of mole of ethanol. So, assumption is needed for this question. Assume there is 100 grams solution, hence there is 10 grams of ethanol and 90 grams of water. Use the mass of ethanol to determine the number of mole. Then, convert the mass of solvent into the unit of kilogram. Next, we need to find the molarity of the solution. As usual, list down the formula. Number of mole of acetic acid is determined just now. So now we use the density and the mass of the solution to determine the volume of the solution. Before substitute the value into the formula, remember convert the unit into liter. Let's look at the working step from student. First, students do not identify the information given in the question is referred to solute, solvent, or solution, and refer to its calculation. Mass of solution is 0.0984, which is less than the mass of solute, 0.984. Illogical condition happens. That's why it is very important to identify solute, solvent, or solution before start to do calculation. Now, look at second example. We notice the students do the assumption. However, the assumption is not based on the mass, but it's based on the volume. So when you do assumption, there is a few dimensions that you can make according to the questions. Once the student assumes volume of solution, he can find the mass of solution. Then from the percentage by mass given in the question, student able to identify mass of solute and also at the same time can identify mass of solvent. As usual, mass of solute help us to get more of solute. Then list down the formula of the dimension required in the question. Convert the unit of mass of solvent into kilogram, and then you can calculate the final answer. Example 3 and example 2 are similar, but then I'm going to show you another way to solve this problem. As usual, gather the information from the question into the table and then write down the formula for the molarity. Again, we need to find number of mole of HCl. Due to lack of information, we can do assumption for volume of solution, which is 1000 ml or equal to 1 liter. After we assume this, we can use the information to get the mass of solution. And from the mass of solution and multiply with the percentage by mass, we can get the mass for solute and solvent indirectly. Mass of solute can help us to determine number of mole of solute. So with this, you can solve the question. Again, let's look at what's the problem that normally faced by the student. Basically, students can get the idea what they going to do, but they didn't write down the formula proper and also confused in between the unit, which make this student cannot get full mark. Another common mistake made by most of the students is confused between solute and solution. Look at these two working steps. They show similar mistake. Like what we discussed in example 2, this question also can be solved if we assume the mass of solution. Coming example showing that the student is assumed volume of solution, but the volume of solution is in 100 ml. So from these two examples, we can know that students can make assumption according to what they understand and assume in any amount is possible. Again, you have to very clear to differentiate solute, solvent, solution. Now, let's solve question example 4. As usual, transfer all the information given in the question to the table and then list down the formula percentage by mass equal to mass of solute over mass of solution. Mass of solute is given, then mass of solvent also given. By total up these two, you can get the mass of solution. Since both information are given from the question, no assumption is needed for this question. Next, look at how we can find molarity. Molarity is mole solute over volume of solution in liter. With the mass of solute, we can determine mole of solute. With the density and mass of solution, we can identify volume of solution. But please alert, the unit will be in milliliter. Before you substitute into the formula, please convert the unit volume milliliter to liter. Now we focus on question example 5. Similar with previous step, gather all the information into the table and then list down the formula that we are going to find mole of solute over mass of solvent in kilogram. From the formula and the information given in the questions, we know that we need to do assumption. For this question, the student assumed the volume of solution in 1 liter. Use the molarity given in the question. We can know the mole of solute is 2.5 mole. Then, from the density, which we assume the volume is 1 liter, we are able to find the mass of solution. Using the mole and also the molar mass, we can determine the mass of solute. Mass of solution minus mass of solute will equal to mass of solvent. Then we substitute the mass of solvent in kilogram according to the formula, and we can solve these questions. If now we look at another example from this student, the student again shows that have idea how to solve the problem. Again, here the student write down mass of solvent, but then when put the substitution here, this is the mass of solution. But this student substitute mass of solution as mass of solvent, and again this student did not change the unit, so the final answer is not correct. Again, differentiate among solute, solvent and solution are important, and also the unit. Let's look at next example. This time the mass of solute and density of solution are given, so transfer them into the table. Then the question is asking us to find the molarity. So let's see how the students answer this question. The student lists down the formula of the density of solution and then use the mass of solute given in the question to determine number of mole of solute. Next, student assume 1000 ml of the volume of solution so that the student able to find mass of solution. With the mass of solution minus with the mass of solute given in the question, then we able to get mass of solvent. The student convert the unit of gram into kilogram and then substitute into the formula, and finally the student able to get the molarity correctly. Next, the student going to solve the question percentage by mass. If we look at this student, the student can list down the formula correctly and then substitute the value into the formula with similar unit, then also able to get the percentage by mass. Next, we look at another. Okay, when we look at this question, the students is going to look for the molarity, list down the formula. Again, from the question, when the mass given, the student will look for the number of mole. However, gram per mole is the unit for molar mass. So for this question, when the student want to determine the molarity, the student assume mass of solvent. With this, student able to find mass of solution and then use the density given to determine the volume of solution. Once the student have number of mole and volume of solution, student able to determine the molarity. However, the working steps are correct, but the student is not answer the question because the question is asked us to look for molarity and not molarity. So please alert when you answering the question. So for the percentage by mass, again, student can list out the formula, substitute the value correctly, so the final answer will be correct as well. After discussing this example with you, now I think it's time for you to answer the following two questions. Reminder for you all, read the question and differentiate the information given is referred to solute, solvent, or solution. Then write down the formula, including the unit. Based on the information gathered, decide assumption is needed or no. Hope you have a clearer idea how to solve the questions about concentration measurements. Thank you for your time. See you in coming video.